the most simplest gauge of measure in any kind of relationship dynamic, whether it's romantic, business, friendship, it doesn't matter. And once I've got okay with using this as a tool for a boundary, and it's so basic. I mean, you've heard this a million times, what I'm about to say. There's so much power in this, though, that it's so basic that people overlook it. You know, it's just because so many people live in such a lower vibration. That's what I believe has made common sense not so common, because there's so many traumatized people looking for red flags, looking for an excuse for the reason that things happen to them. I mean, they're in bondage. There is so many people in bondage being held back by their own fear, their own trauma, their own wounds, their own excuses, their own lack of self-awareness, finger pointing, whatever, their own lack of faith. But so that oftentimes causes people to just breeze past like the basics, the very obvious. It's when I looked at this that it helped bring me clarity where I couldn't quite find the clarity that I was overthinking. And this is particularly helpful if you're coming out of a series of toxic relationships, or if you're trying to find your equilibrium again. You know, you're trying to find what feels safe, what feels good to you. You're trying to find balance, essentially, again. This is God's life preserver to you. It always applies. Always. It's truly black or white. There's no middle area on this. If there is confusion, it is not of God. If there is confusion, if you feel unclear, if you feel even chaotic, if you feel out of balance, it means that whatever you are engaging in, whatever you are overthinking, whatever you are replaying, whatever dynamic that you're in, whatever job you're in, whatever friendship you're in, if you feel confused about it, it's not of God. It's not of love, because God is love. So when you can think of things in terms of that, especially when you're reflecting or doing shadow work or doing any kind of trauma work, when you reflect back on situations, relationships, and you can sort of quantify, and this is where like the strategic neurodivergent side, this is where my masculine side kicks in, because I like to quantify in like numbers and percentages and stuff, quarter of percentages. And so when you can look back on any kind of relevant or significant relationship or job or situation, whatever was going on in your life, and when you pull that perspective up, right, you pull it up so you can see the big picture, and now it's when you're looking back, and I don't always encourage people to look back unless you're doing it with the intention of healing. You know, you missed a lesson along the way, and so you go back, and that's essentially what shadow work is. Shadow work is going back with the intention to retrieve the lesson and then integrate that to extract the wisdom and work that into your purpose. That's what I teach. That's what I do. That's what I'm trying to do anyways. But my voice is being blocked still because some stupid freak show thought they could steal my destiny and wants to steal my money. But all these people are more concerned about their reputations, their pride, having to pay me back. They're so concerned not only about the action that they took towards me, a completely innocent person that didn't do anything to any of them, that didn't deserve any of this, and has had to endure it for years. Okay, these people have taken years from my life. Like, if we just count like since the intentional part of my life of healing, it's been about 5 years. 5 years. Every day continues to add up because somebody else is more concerned about their intentions than I am for myself. That's very confusing to me. So that's how I know it's not of God. And that's how I know that anybody who would be doing that to another person is not of God. You know that the devil is in that. You know that deceit is in that, the adversary. That's not normal behavior. Mainly it's control of another human being, another spirit, which is so strange to me. That's not normal to want to control another human being. But when you can look back, though, in your healing and you can quantify the amount of your life that you have spent in confusion, in chaos, and even to some degree overthinking, because you may have thought that overthinking was just a part of your personality. I know I used to think that as well. But I actually am not an overthinker at all. And it took my healing for me to understand this. It really wasn't me overthinking. It was me being intentionally in a stronghold of the voodoo that was going on in the back of my life, the amount of control that was going on in the back of my life that was creating this chaos all around me, and me trying to work through it from a loving place. Because when you actually have a loving heart, regardless of what anybody thinks of you on the outside, when you know you have a loving heart and you're a giver and you try to make people happy and you're a good person to people, and they turn around and treat you like dog shit or they don't reciprocate, and it's like just this constant trying to figure out why people are treating you this way, and so before you heal, you might overthink that. And so this was probably, I want to say, it wasn't long after I left MedVet, maybe like 6 months or so. I hadn't sold my house yet. But I remember listening to, I was probably listening to a podcast of one of the prophets that I follow, but something as simple as saying, if it's written in confusion, then God is not the author. And so once you can adopt that as a part of your character, or however you want to word it so it's right with your soul, and you hang on to that, that means you're hanging on to spirit. That's faith. That's saying, I have accepted this as a truth, as an objective truth, a subjective truth, a personal truth. This is a truth all the way around. So in a world of confusion and chaos and toxicity and fog and fear and projections, if you can accept that God, Allah, whoever you assign to, because again, there are some universal truths. This is what I love about the beauty of and the unity that you can find in different cultures, in different doctrines and religious doctrines, because there are some very basic principles that it does not matter if you're a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Buddhist. It does not matter. There are some principles that are standard across the board. They might have a different label, they might have different wording, and they might even have a different application, but there are some that are universal. And it's a great way for us as a society it would be a great place to start to even unite on those. But I can tell you what one of those is. And that is the Most High, God, the Supreme Being, is not one of chaos, confusion, manipulation, lies, deceit. It's of truth. So anytime you find yourself in that situation or overthinking a situation, first, ask yourself, why am I allowing myself to be in any kind of confusion in this situation? Then, because hopefully you're coming to some self-awareness, because then you have to check yourself. You have to ask yourself, am I being clear about where I'm confused? Am I challenging myself through communication? Am I seeking facts? Is there a different way that I can approach a conversation that feels safe to me or safe to another person, safe to a boss, safe to a friend, safe to a parent, safe to a child? Challenge yourself, because that's how growth starts as well. And then, and this is the hardest part of this, but this is a part of mastery. This is part of mastering yourself, which again is another universal truth across all religious doctrines, cultures, and societies. This mastering your spirit, your purpose, that's really what we're all here for. And it's going to look different for each and every one of us. But when you can remain true to that, that's where you grow love for yourself. That's where confidence grows. I also teach people a lot of the difference between ego, confidence, insecurity, and security, healthy attachments and non-healthy attachments, being in flow, and then confusing that with not being in flow and actually just kind of covertly trying to control. But it's responding to that in a way in which is in alignment with yourself, whatever the response is. And you have to be okay with accepting the truth about it. If you want the truth and you want the clarity, and then you seek it and you get it, you have to follow through with that and be okay with it, and know that through faith, that by doing so, you are staying in alignment with your highest path in this lifetime, your destiny. You're staying in alignment with God or whatever resonates with you, spirit, whatever resonates. By staying in alignment with universal truth in particular, accepting it, doing a self-evaluation to own your part in it, seeking whatever answers you need outside so that you can contribute to the clarity. But if you don't get what you need, like if you're having a conversation with a narcissist or somebody who is intentionally being manipulative, you're not going to get the truth from them. And it's accepting that and saying, okay, well, I did my part. I asked for clarity in the situation. I made an opportunity. I created safety around it. And I'm still confused as to my interaction, my direction, this person's intention, whatever it is, however you want to apply this, okay? And if that doesn't happen, then that person isn't in alignment with you. That job, that friendship, it's not in alignment with you. And you can move confidently forward in faith. That's what faith is. You don't need to see anything else. And you don't need to overthink it. So if you say, I want love, I want true unconditional love in my life. I want my soulmate, I want my kingdom spouse, I want a partner in this lifetime. Or let's just say I want to find my purpose. I want to find something that is going to bring me genuine joy. Something that is going to make me genuinely long-term abundant on the inside and the outside. I want peace. I want balance. I don't want to struggle with anxiety. I don't want to struggle with addictions. I don't want to struggle with any of that. That all comes from love. That comes from love and respect and honor for yourself first. So if we know God is love, and we want to be in alignment with love, and we know love and God that authors love, authors destinies, authors abundance, authors the promises, if we know that, then we have to stay in alignment with it. So how can we be engaging in any situation that is bringing us confusion? And you have to be okay with accepting whatever interaction, whatever reciprocation of that, right? Because some people aren't okay with that either. Let's say you start dating somebody and you ask, or you want to get a promotion at work. Let's say you're thinking about collaborating with somebody on some kind of business deal, whatever it is. And you take the steps necessary to seek the truth. You are very clear about what it is that you want. You're very clear about how you feel about any situation. And you share this. in whatever way that you do that, to gain that clarity, to clear confusion, so that you can best move forward for yourself to see if, hey, is this in alignment with me? Because I'm love. I want to stay in alignment with love because I know that's my destiny path. And so I'm going to figure this out. And let's say it's a woman that you're interested in. And they say, well, I'm not really into labels, or I'm not really looking for anything. And see, some people, and a lot of people do this, they'll walk away from that like feeling like stupid, like, oh, I shouldn't have said anything, like, I feel stupid, like they're gonna think I'm dumb, and blah, 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 blah. No, you just honored yourself. You just stayed in alignment with love, with truth, with yourself. Be proud of yourself for doing that. That's where confidence is built from. See, what people do though is they put this intention out. Let's say you want to be working in the job of your dreams. Okay, let's say you want to be an artist, a musician. Let's say you want to write a book. Let's say you want to make a movie. Let's say you want to be a CEO. You know, whatever it is that you want to do. And you put that out into the world. And then this person, this partner, this potential opportunity, whatever it is, it's not giving you the response back that you want when you sought those answers. And so then what people will do then is they will start to absorb that and think that that means something about them, instead of honoring themselves for doing that. Because what just happened in that moment is exactly what you asked for. It's like God being like, out of the way, keep going. Keep going. See that door over there? That one's opening up for you. So if you stay there, or, you go recoil and think, damn it, carried the watermelon. I said I carried the watermelon. It is a hit to your ego. Instead of recognize that as healthy pride. Having pride for yourself and honoring yourself for challenging yourself to seek that clarity and that answers, and recognize that if you're truly in alignment with yourself and this is what you're looking for, and you want to stay in alignment with love and destiny and your path, and this is what you're going for, that being okay with being rejected. Rejection is not only your protection, but it is your direction as well. That's an Alicia Pellegrino quote. If you want to try to steal that from me, appreciate it. If you make sure you document that correctly. I'm coming for my royalties at some point. You have to be able to look at conversations and communication and intention as opportunities for your growth, for your journey, for your path. If you see fear even taking the first step in a different direction, then you're always going to land back at where you started. I'm passionate about this, and the reason it is my destiny that nobody can ever take or copy, and one of the reasons that many people, especially if they do get into spiritual or religious ministry, especially online, and the reason it comes off inauthentic most of the time is because people have not lived through those experiences. They may believe in God, they may believe in whatever their culture, their doctrine is or whatever, but they haven't integrated it. It's not a part of their journey. They haven't integrated it into the purpose, into the path yet. They haven't applied it. They haven't applied the wisdom to it. And so the connection to it, the passion for it, it's never going to be authentic. When I talk about the things that I talk about, and a part of the reason that when people listen to me, they know it's truth. It's one of the reasons that God has had me in a little bit of silence right now, because he's trying to deliver the wrath to the people that literally won't get the hell out of my way. and teach them some lessons that they're refusing to learn, apparently. But it can get very challenging, because if you have a very high calling, a big purpose, a big destiny, which we all do, but the closer that you get, obviously you're gonna be met with some demons and all of that. But for me, having people intentionally trying to groom me to be a sacrifice most of my life, having intentional narcissists, having this demonic, deeply sick energy of narcissism and Leviathan, being embodied by the people that were closest to me in my life intentionally, in an effort to do voodoo on me, to prepare me to be like a sacrifice or whatever, because I was surrounded with all these psychopaths my whole life. You could not copy my experience, because I had to literally walk that journey. Taylor Swift wanting to be a general in the Army, in the Marines. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't feel good. And there'd be a lot of confusion for everybody. And people would probably get hurt. It's a lot like that. But I'm passionate about it because I understand, even though by the grace of God, and it's just my purpose and my mission, and some people might see this as like, oh, you think you're better than people, that I did not end up like addicted to drugs. I did not end up addicted to sex or gambling, or I don't have that type of dependency that a lot of people fell down into, or like the sick whack jobs in my family in this cult group, stuck in their lower chakra energies, in lustful energies. And that's what these people want, though. But it was always a part of my mission, because this is the prophecy of the star rising, and not the inverted version, which would be Lucifer. And I already took the head off of that sucker. And that's what sets people free, though, to rise up as well, to find their own destiny. That's the prophecy. That's why these old bitter Betty bitches, the stupid, bitter Betty bitches, who have abused their own children, who have sacrificed their own children, and the dusty, crusty, sick fucks who hurt little boys. Dust to dust, my friend. You're a demon in a flesh suit. And we don't negotiate with demons. We don't negotiate with demons. Stop projecting your humanity onto these people. They're not human. They're not human. If you're connected to them, they're going to get increasingly more erratic. But don't waste your time, because they're going to hold you in confusion. They don't have the ability to have clarity because they're not human. They're demons. They're fully possessed. They have no intention of changing. They want to keep you distracted. They want to keep you in confusion and chaos. And you can gauge this based on everything I just told you. I hope this helps. Peace be with you.